Good day, students. You're welcome to our BST chemistry class today. How was your holidays or the Salah break? Okay, let me also use this opportunity to say happy Salah to my Muslim students and parents also. Okay, today we have another topic, atomic number. Our topic today says atomic number. So today we are going to look at atomic number as a topic and know what it is all about. So our objective for this lesson is that by the time we are done with this class, you should be able to define an atom. You should also be able to mention the subatomic particles and as well define atomic number. So we are going to define atomic number. We are going to know or understand what atomic number is all about. But before we do that, we should be able to know what an atom is and the subatomic particles, what they are. Okay, what is an atom? What is an atom? As you can see on your screen, say that an atom is the smallest particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. Now, when we say smallest particle of an element, that means an element has particles. We have done the particulate nature of matter, and we said that matter has small particles, or matter is made up of small particles. Now, we also say that an atom is the smallest particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. What this simply means is that when you bring an element, you divide it, you continue dividing, you continue dividing, you continue dividing until you get the smallest particle. The smallest particle, which if you see it, you still say that this is matter or it's an element, but you cannot divide it again. So this is what we call matter. The smallest particle of an element is an atom. So I define it again. I said that an atom is the smallest particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. That means it still possesses the properties of that element. Let's take, for instance, in your class, we can say that there is, when we start dividing your class into groups or numbers, let's assume your class is 28. Let's assume that your class is 28. We can divide your class into 2 to get a group of 14. Now you take that 14 and divide it into 2, you get a group of 7. You take that 7 out of the 14 and divide it into 2, you get a group of 3.5. When you take that 3.5 and divide it into 2, you get a group of 1.25, and so on and so forth. So you see that you continue dividing until there is this smallest part that you cannot divide again. I hope this is making sense to you. You keep dividing until this smallest part that you cannot divide again. That smallest part that you cannot divide again is what we call an atom. So I repeat again, an atom is the smallest part or particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. So when you keep dividing that substance or that group or that whatever you have, you keep dividing it, at the end of the day, you still see that little that which remains in your hand still possesses the properties of the whole group. Let's say there are 4. You divide into 2, you divide into 1. Now that one that is remaining is the atom of the group. So that one still possesses the properties of the whole. I hope this is making sense. Okay, let's look at this structure of an element. In chemistry, we represent an element with the letter X. So X is a chemical symbol for an element or any element in chemistry. So we use letter X to represent an element. Now we have another letter A which is written on top of the X. A represents the mass number and Z is written as a subscript to the chemical symbol, Z also represents what we call the atomic number, which is our topic of discussion for today. So we said that an element has two properties, a mass number and the atomic number. Remember, I said that in chemistry we use X to represent an element, using A as the atomic number, as the mass number, and Z as the mass number. I repeat, A represents the mass number and Z represents the atomic number. So in this lesson today, we are interested in Z. What is Z and how does Z exist or form, or what is it all about? Okay, let's look at the subatomic particles. When we say sub, we are talking about a part of something. So an atom is made up of 3 subatomic particles. We call them the subatomic particles because they are the 3 things that make up an atom. Let me also tell you that prior to the discovery of these subatomic particles, we used to define an atom as the smallest indivisible particle of an element. Remember, I said we used to define an atom as the smallest indivisible particle of an element. When we say indivisible, we mean that an element cannot be divided. I repeat, when we said indivisible, we mean that an element cannot be divided. But some scientists like Rutherford and Thomson went into research and found out that an atom contains some other smaller particles that make up an atom. So that means an atom can actually be divided. So which made way for this new definition, which says that an atom is the smallest particle, not indivisible anymore. We say that an atom is the smallest particle of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. Therefore, it is still divisible. It can now be divided into the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. The protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. So these are the 3 subatomic particles that make up an atom. Now let's look at what a proton is. What is a proton? So we say that a proton is the positively charged subatomic particle is the positively charged subatomic particle. I repeat, a proton is the positively charged subatomic particle. That means a proton has a charge which is what? Positive, and has a mass. When you measure the mass, it measures the mass of 1, and it is found inside the nucleus of an atom. I will show you what a nucleus of an atom is. I know you must have done cell in your BST biology. Now, the nucleus is the center of an atom. It is the heartbeat of an atom. It is the life of an atom. Now, that is where we find the proton. So the proton is found in the nucleus. Remember, I said it has a mass of 1 and has a positive charge. So it is positively charged. Okay, now let's look at the neutron. I say neutron is the neutral subatomic particle. Just like the proton, it has a mass of 1. Neutron has a mass of 1, proton has a mass of 1. So the proton and the neutron, they are also found in the nucleus of an atom. So if I ask you what makes up the nucleus of an atom, or what we call the nucleus, you should be able to tell me that the protons and the neutrons are what makes up the nucleus of an atom. So these protons and neutrons are called the nucleons. Okay, so a proton is the positively charged, a neutron is the neutral charge, that it does not have any charge. It is neither negative nor positive. Now we talk about the electron. The electron is the negatively charged subatomic particle. The electron is the negatively charged subatomic particle. So the mass is actually negligible. So when I say negligible, what do I mean? It is very, 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 very small. The mass of an electron is very, 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 very small. 0.0000000. That it does not matter. So it is negligible. That means we neglect it. In chemistry, we don't measure the mass of an electron. So the electron is negatively charged. It has the mass of 0.00, very negligible mass, and it rotates around the nucleus of an atom. So it moves around the nucleus of an atom. Now, an atom is a spherical substance, so which has the concentrated middle, which has the nucleus and the neutron and the proton. The electron is found, or the electrons are found around the nucleus of an atom. Just take a look at this. This is the structure of an atom. When you look at this structure, you see my key. The electron is in red, neutron in yellow, and proton in blue. So the proton is positively charged. You can see the plus sign in proton. The electron, which is negatively charged, you can see the minus sign in electron. But the neutron, which has no charge at all, there is no sign on it. Now let's look at the nucleus. You can see the proton and the neutron inside the nucleus of that atom. Just look very well. You can see the blue round-shaped colors, the blue round-shaped colors, and the yellow round-shaped colors. So we said that the yellow represents the neutron, while the blue represents the electron. Now, looking at these shapes, you can see that inside there you have the nucleus. Now look around the nucleus. You see that the electrons are moving around the nucleus. Hello? Good. Now, if you count the number of protons in this atom and count the number of electrons, you will see that the number of electrons in this atom is the same thing as the number of protons. That means in every atom, a neutral atom, in every neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. In every neutral atom, the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons. Now, when you look at that picture, you will see that the electrons are moving around the nucleus of the atom. They keep rotating. So they are not static. They move. Now, the proton and the neutron is inside they are inside the nucleus. So they form what we call the nucleons. So these three are the subatomic particles of an element, and this is the way they are arranged in every element. Remember, the electrons are involved in chemical reactions. Electrons are involved in chemical reactions. Okay, let's look at a helium atom. This is a helium atom. It has, helium is atomic number 2. It has 2 protons and 2 electrons and 2 neutrons. Just look very well. You can see my neutrons are inside the nucleus. The protons are inside the nucleus. Now the electrons, you see the labeling, they are negatively charged. They are found outside the nucleus of a helium atom. Hello students, I hope you are understanding this. Okay, so this structure of the helium atom shows us the position of these elements or these subatomic particles. So the nucleus, you can see it inside the nucleus. The neutron is inside the nucleus, the proton is inside the nucleus, and the electrons moving around the nucleus in what we call orbit, or we call them shells or electron shells. So if you don't call them orbits, you call them electron shells. So these are typical examples of an atom and the subatomic particles. This is the way they are arranged. Just look at that atomic structure again. You look at it, you see the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons. So let's move forward. Let's now understand what an atom is, or atomic number. Let's understand what atomic number is. What is atomic number? We said that atomic number can be defined as the number of protons in one atom of an element. Hello? I take it again. I said that an atomic number can be defined, or atomic number is the number of protons in one atom of an element. For instance, chlorine has 17 protons. Chlorine, element chlorine has 17 protons. Therefore, the atomic number of chlorine is 17. That means if an element has 100 protons, the atomic number of that element is 100. If atomic number of an element is 20, that means that element has 20 protons. Let me also let you know that the number of protons in an element or in a neutral element or a neutral atom is the same as the number of electrons. I repeat, the number of protons in a neutral atom of an element is the same thing as the number of electrons. Let's look at this structure again. Let's count the red. You can see that the red, that is the electrons, they are 5 in number. If you count the number of protons inside the nucleus, you see that they are 5. But inside the nucleus also, the neutrons, they are 6 in number. Just count the yellow balls, you see that they are 6 in number. This shows that the number of electrons and number of neutrons for a neutral atom are always the same, but the number of neutrons may be the same or vary. They may be the same or they may be different. Let's look at helium atom again. Now look at helium atom. It has 2 protons and 2 electrons with 2 neutrons. But in the case of this atom, which we represent here, this should be beryllium. This should be, okay, boron. This is a boron atom. This boron atom has 6 neutrons instead of 5. This boron atom has 6 neutrons instead of 5. So the number of neutrons might differ, but the number of electrons and the number of protons are always the same. Hello, students. I hope you are following me. Okay. I repeat once more. The number of protons and number of electrons are always the same for a neutral atom, unless it is an ion. That is where you have difference in the number of protons and number of neutrons. I will spare that for another class. So today our major concentration is on knowing what atomic number is, and we have defined atomic number, and I have gone further to tell you that the number of protons in a neutral atom and number of electrons is the same in every element. Now, in this case, chlorine, which has 17 protons, also has atomic number 17. That means if hydrogen is atomic number 1, therefore hydrogen possesses 1 proton and 1 electron. If helium is atomic number 2, that means helium has 2 protons and 2 electrons. If lithium is atomic number 3, that means lithium has 3 protons and 3 electrons. So if you keep counting, oxygen atomic number 8, that means oxygen has 8 protons and 8 electrons. So the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons in a neutral atom, and it is equal to the number of, or the atomic number. Hello students. This is where we will come to the end of this class today. I repeat, atomic number, if you forget anything, don't forget this. That atomic number is the number of protons in one atom of an element. Okay, thanks for watching this video. Your assignments and other things comes up in the Google Classroom. Stay safe and stay home and stay blessed.